So how is the integral movement method different to other exercise methods? It's a unique approach to movement and exercise designed to eliminate the stresses of daily life to give you a strong body and mind. The IMM is a whole body approach. What do I mean by this? It means that we look at connections between mind and body, and we start at our very essence, the breath. The breath is a strong indicator of how we're feeling. If you feel tense, have you noticed your breath becomes shallow? And it's the same if you're in pain. But if you're relaxed, it's generally much easier to take a full breath. With a tension in the breath, it is an indication of how the body feels inside. Tension can be created and released through the breath, and without the integration of the breath, movement can be difficult and sometimes painful. If the body feels tense, movement can be compromised and we can become injury prone. The IMM aims to allow the breath to facilitate the movement rather than fixating on the breath. We are looking for the interconnected relationship between breath and movement so that your movement becomes less mechanical and more fluid and effortless. This will lead to greater freedom, strength, and less pain. Emily, one of our Pilates instructors, is going to help explain and demonstrate how the IMM is a different approach to exercise. Feel free to join in with any of the exercises Emily performs. Now, let's take a look at Emily's breathing patterns. So sometimes when people come to class, maybe they've been at work, they've had a stressful day, they bring that tension into the class. So when we lie down on the mat, we're harbouring tension in the body. So sometimes we notice that the breath is shallow, and it's quite restricted to the upper chest. And we can start to see tension around the shoulders and neck. So we can see that Emily's breathing is quite restricted to her upper body and there's not much going on down in the rest of the torso. So that means that her upper body is harbouring tension, which through the IMM we want to try and release. So Emily, if we could start thinking about drawing the breath maybe into the back of your throat, so that you start to access the back of your body. That's it. So we're going to allow the breath to travel through the back of the body, and we already notice a change in Emily's breathing patterns. We can see that now the ribs are starting to expand and the belly. That's it. We can allow the shoulders to also feel the support of Emily's breath. So as she exhales, can she allow the shoulders to fall a little bit further back into the mat? That's it. So through this breathing pattern, Emily becomes more aware of her weightiness of the back of the body, her ribs, her thoracic spine, her pelvis, and even her feet. So as Emily's breathing, can she be conscious of the whole back of her body so that the floor is supporting her? So as Emily gets softer into the mat, releasing her muscle tension down, she can start to really feel the support of the floor underneath her. And when she allows that to happen, she'll have greater freedom of movement. So why don't we take a look at a very simple movement? So Emily's already allowed her body to settle, and we can see that she's got a little bit more grounding into the floor. So we're going to do a simple knee roll exercise. So Emily, with that sense of weightiness into the mat, really just to feel that. Now when you're feeling really heavy on your next out breath, allow that softening to come into the body and see if you can allow the knee to just roll in. That's it. And see if you can keep that sense of weightiness in the back of your body. Lovely. And then when you're ready, use your breath to help lower the legs. So when does it feel right? Beautiful. And we can see how the body just softens into the floor as she does that. We'll just do a couple more. So as she exhales, you can see that she's allowing her body to sink and drop. Now this is probably already engaging her abdominals. We haven't asked her to engage her abdominals, but the exhale will allow that engagement in a very natural way. So there's no bracing or fixing around the pelvis. Just do one more each side, Emily. So again, notice how she uses her breath to soften. The leg is then free to roll into the pelvis without a tension. You can see this is quite soft and fluid, very natural for everyday movement. And your last one, Emily. So really feel it. Notice when you're ready to feel that support of the ground. Beautiful. So Emily has a very relaxed approach to her movement, but it doesn't mean that she's not feeling the work going on inside, which is just perfect for translating into everyday life. So the IMM is a positive movement experience with a no pain, no strain approach, as opposed to a no pain, no gain approach. Amazingly, by actually learning to let go of squeezing, pushing and forcing, often associated with exercise, we can become stronger. So we are seeking spinal articulations without force and spinal elongations without tension and bracing. Through our whole body approach and understanding of whole body organisation, we will always find freedom. So Emily is now going to demonstrate this ability to articulate the spine with freedom. So we're going to try a simple bridge pattern now. So Emily has already established this nice weightiness into the back of the floor. So we're going to use that to help her get a really lovely long bridge pattern. So Emily, can you still feel your feet are nice and heavy into the ground? Beautiful. So I want you to really focus on your feet. Don't worry about your spine. Really feel as though your feet are weighted down here. And you're going to use that and that fascial connection through the back of the body to help lift you up. So let's just see how Emily does that. As she starts to think about her feet almost expanding into the ground. You notice already her pelvis starts to lift off the floor and she's getting this lovely extension through her hip. Lovely, and she can breathe there, so we could probably stay there for a couple of breaths because as you can see this is nice and soft. And Emily is using the back of her body to really support her, really grounded down into her feet. And when she's ready to come back down, again feel that the body can just soften towards the floor. It's still articulating down, feeling the pelvis lengthen towards the feet and let the pelvis rest. Very nice. We're going to try a couple more in your own time, Emily. So again, notice how the feet initiate the action, which allows the pelvis to float with freedom. So there's no bracing around here. The lower back is nice and soft, as is the front of the body. So that when Emily comes down, there's already that freedom of movement. There's no fixing. She's not worrying about what her spine is doing. She's using the ground and the release of her tension to give her the freedom to come up. Let's just try one more. So there's a real softness to this movement. Beautiful. And she just allows the weight to settle between her shoulders, her head and her feet, allowing this breath. You can see she's still just breathing in that full body breath that we did earlier. Lovely. And then just notice how it floats back down. Easily, no tension, until she just rests. The IMM is a structured approach to movement that encompasses full body awareness, and it always starts with the breath. It heightens our sensory awareness, so we not only move more easily, but we move without tension, forcing our bodies to do movements when they're not quite ready. It's all about taking tension out of the body, not putting it in. So through ease of movement, we can take on more challenging roles with ease. So we're just going to ask Emily to go into one of her knee roll exercises. So we're going to roll one leg up. And then using her breath, using her weight, we're going to bring the other leg up too. So she starts to add more challenge now to the spine as she's holding both legs into the air. And we're just going to show how easily Emily can flow now into a more dynamic exercise. So Emily, if you go ahead and put your hands behind your head, and we're going to come up into one of our classical exercises of the single leg stretch. So when you're ready, feel that weightiness through your pelvis. That's it. And can you use the weight of the pelvis to help float the upper body off the floor? So I'm hoping Emily's feeling quite secure and weighted down here because she's going to need that weight now. We're going to remove the hands from the head and Emily's just going to start moving into a single leg stretch. That's it. So we've already established this weightiness into the back of the body, which allows Emily's legs to flow in and out of the spine. One continuous movement, and she's breathing easily. So you can see she's not stressing. The shoulders are nice and soft. The breath is still easy. We can barely hear her breath because it's just so deep into the body, and it looks beautiful. Just do one more each side, Emily. Lovely. She could probably keep going for quite a long time. And then just lie yourself back down and lower your legs down one leg at a time. So we get this flow that makes even challenging exercises look easy. It doesn't mean that Emily wasn't working hard on the inside. I'm sure she was. I'm sure she felt her abdominals. But it gives her that lovely, long, lengthened, toned body that comes with ease. So thank you, Emily, for helping us out there. The integral movement method is versatile. It's ideal for performance athletes and for those in pain. It's adaptable to your individual needs. It's not about learning an exercise as an individual exercise, but giving you a system that works in life, on the mat and in everyday life. Your body will feel it and experience it. And importantly, it will remember the sensations. Your brain doesn't know what a muscle is, but it can understand a sensation and recreate it whenever you need it. That's the real power of the integral movement method.